Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. All right, Vernon Guillermo. He is the CEO of Agile Interoperable Solutions. Vernon, welcome back to the show. How have you been?
Great. Thanks again, Michael, for having me back on the show.
All right,
Happy to be here.
I'm glad you're here. Give our audience a flavor for what Agile Interoperable Solutions does, and then I want to ask you about some of the intricacies of the company and really the product and how you're helping humanity with this product.
Absolutely. So Agile is a communication solutions company. Through the use of our proprietary equipment, we're able to make non-compatible communication devices compatible, as well as provide other communication media in critical and challenging environments. So for example, we're able to take a radio to a cell phone, a radio to a landline, and even radio-to-radio communications directly, where normally these devices are unable to connect directly with each other. But through the use of our proprietary technology, we're able to connect them directly. So using Agile's equipment facilitates unified incident command. And what that is basically takes multiple agencies, multiple departments that have different communication devices and allows them all to be able to connect directly. So they're working as one unit. And then obviously there's a lot of results from that. It gives them a single set of incident objectives. Everybody's working together seamlessly, improved internal and external communication and information flow, as well as better utilization of resources.
Now, let me drill down a little bit on that, because that's a really good overview for the layman, but it's very intricate, because each one of these different first responders, if you will, has their own encryption, they've got their own equipment, and you've been able to create a device that doesn't have to, you don't have to set up 15 different walkie-talkies, hand them out to everybody, get them on the same channel, and then collect them again. They're all using their own equipment and maintaining their standard of privacy and security in the meantime. Do I have that correct?
Absolutely. So what we're able to do is we're actually able to take their a sample radio or a donor radio from each department, connect that up to our device, and through our proprietary software, it allows that encryption to carry through. So there's no intervention at all from anybody that's using the equipment. They're just working on their own equipment as normal, and everything just works seamlessly and automatically.
Give us some examples in real life scenarios of your deployment process, the time to connect everybody up, and a real-world situation where you would be called upon, or your equipment would be called upon to be used.
Okay, sure. So our equipment's very simple, and the way that the technical team has designed the equipment is they want to make it as easy as possible, because, with the first responders, they have their own responsibilities, right? And everything's critical, so timing is of the essence. So with one of our flagship product, we call it CORE, which stands for Common Operating Radio Engine. You simply turn it on, and within 15 minutes, you're able to establish communications automatically.
Now, is this just in U.S. or is it throughout the world you can use this?
You can actually use our equipment all over the world. We use the internet through cellular, through an internet cable direct. We can establish connections to the outside world with satellite. We have an automatic system we call it smart routing, which basically connects you to the outside world in order of least cost priority. So you can connect with an internet cable, cellular or LTE connection, microwave or a point-to-point system, or the last option is satellite. Very expensive, but it does give you connection to the outside world.
Okay, so when you say satellite, that means that you can actually communicate with spaceships. I mean, if you really have to.
Well, yeah, technically you could, but for our communications, we're able to also do voice through satellite, and obviously the data streaming through satellite.
So this would be really good, and not just first responders for natural disasters, a hurricane, typhoon, earthquake, but I see application here in the medical field, triage out in the in a war zone. Is that something that could work?
Absolutely. In fact, we've spoke with a few hospitals, and they are looking for that type of communication for those remote operations that they have to set up. So yeah, it could absolutely be a primary means of setting up a communication network for hospitals or anybody that really needs to send data back and forth, voice, text messaging, SMS, MMS, Wi-Fi, mesh networks, anything like that. It's truly amazing equipment.
Now, when we first started speaking, you were just getting this deployed, you were just getting it up, you were out seeking contracts. I think that you've had some success since we last spoke. Can you allude to some of the successes that you've had with your business, your model, and how you're growing it?
Sure. Yeah, we actually have been working with an emergency management system in southern Florida. And as you can imagine, with the hurricanes that devastate that area, they definitely need our communication equipment. So what we've done is we've supplied them with all the necessary communications equipment in the event of a hurricane or a similar incident where communication towers are down and for whatever reason. The Agile ecosystem will help them and their surrounding agencies establish communications rapidly and facilitate a coordinated effort for that response.
All right.
So obviously they're being proactive. They call it hurricane season for a reason. So better to be prepared, and so that's what we're helping them do.
Where are you taking the company next? What are your plans to grow the company? Milestones that you set for yourself that a business person would look at. I mean, first responders is one thing, but also outside investors looking at your company, your management style, your growth rate, your milestones. Bring those out for us. Sure.
Yeah. Agile's products were primarily designed for, as you mentioned earlier, first responders, the government agencies, emergency management departments, basically due to their critical nature and their need for robust and secure communications. However, our technology lends itself to other industries such as, private security agencies, mining, your oil and gas companies, hospitals, as you mentioned. The list kind of goes on and on, but we're taking it into the smart cities, the autonomous vehicles, just some other options to name a few. There's so many opportunities for us, and we're learning about them every day. So it's fantastic to see where our technology will take us, and really, we really don't know, because as people think about, well, I wish I could do this, or if we could only do this, then that's where our solution comes in, and then we find those opportunities. Just for example, we're working with a mining company, or actually a blasting company that's in the mining industry, and we're helping them upgrade their technology to go from a wired system to a wireless system, and that's really giving them a lot of opportunities because it extends their range. It gives them the ability to set up communications in remote areas where, as you can imagine from a mining situation, they're in very remote areas. So we're giving them the ability to have the voice, to have the wireless mesh network, to extend their blasting device units and increase their distances between them, and gives them the ability to send and receive live video, send and receive the data real time. It's really a powerful thing. And as we grow that industry in that sector, we're always learning, and it's going to be amazing for them as well for us, because not only is that giving them the advancement in technology, but it's leapfrogging them over their competition by miles.
And so we're not talking about a truck. We're talking about a device that's like an oversized suitcase. Am I right?
Well, yeah. So our flagship product, Core, which I mentioned previously, that's just basically a large suitcase. It's about 150 or 170 pounds, depending on what options you put on it. That's the larger device. But it's small enough to where you could actually put it in the back of an SUV and transport it around from location to location. And that is essentially a communication device that could be your corporate primary device, or it can be a backup device. Another product that we have, we call Mobile Core, and it's 6 inches by 6 inches by 2 inches approximately, and it's made really to be mounted on a vehicle, and that's essentially your hotspot on steroids, if you will. And then we have a product that is a backpack version where you have the Mobile Core as the heart of the product and the communications, and it's powered by a battery that will last about 10 to 12 hours. So you can run a full shift on it, charge it overnight, and then use it again for the next day. And that obviously you can take on your back, on horseback. You can run that up a mountain and have your communications on your back. We have another product which is essentially the same thing, but in a hardened suitcase that you can basically throw in the back of a car, and it's completely protected. You can throw it up, and it's small enough to be a carry-on on a plane, so you can bring it with you at all times. And it's really a fantastic ecosystem that we can build with all of the products together.
I could see search and rescue going crazy with this and getting it all across the park systems. This is amazing. All right, Vernon, thanks for being a guest on today's show. I really appreciate that. I can't wait to have you back and see what other leaps you've made.
Fantastic. I look forward to it, and thanks again for having me on the show.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. All right. You've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.